Hi, everyone. This is Greg Kilpack talking to you not from the New York Stock Exchange, but from Florida, where I live, where it's nice and warm. Um, we missed our options show today because there was a power outage where I live. They're doing road construction and somebody did something, knocked the power out right when I was about to get on the air. So apologize for that. In place of that, I'm going to do this recording and send it out to everyone. So I'd like to make that available to you. First off, let's talk about what's going on in the world of investing. Okay, you should be able to see my screen there. Let me lower that. Okay, should be able to see what's going on here. It's important to keep an eye on Evergrande, the great big Chinese real estate company that's having lots of problems with their debt. You can keep an eye on this story by simply Googling Evergrande News. All right. It says right here, just by looking through the recent articles, Evergrande's having a lot of problems. Uh, they're missing their bond payments so far. They have a $2.6 billion deal to raise cash has fallen through. I'm not seeing a lot of good headlines coming out of China on this. This is a big deal. Let's look at that, why that is. This is not me talking. This is CNBC, okay? China's embattled real estate developer Evergrande is on the brink of default. They have another debt payment coming up Saturday. If they miss that, they will officially be in default. And so the Chinese government had better bail them out, or it's going to mean trouble for the whole world economy. When China, the second largest economy in the world and a major trading partner of the United States, when their economy is having big troubles, it's going to affect everybody, including the United States. So just be aware of that. Snowed under its crushing debt of $300 billion, Evergrande is so huge that the fallout from any failure could hurt not just China's economy, could spread to markets outside of China. Absolutely true. This is how market crashes develop, possibly. I don't want to be the prophet of doom or anything, but we have to keep a close eye on that. You better have a trigger finger to sell your investments if this actually starts to affect us. We'll know if it's affecting the US markets is if Monday and Tuesday there's a sharp sell-off next week. So keep an eye on this, please. Evergrande faces make or break weekend for their bond payment. You can Google this and read all about it if you want to. I recommend that you do. Now, before we place any trades on any stocks or options on those stocks, we want to know when the earnings are coming out. You don't want to hold a trade over earnings because if you do, you're increasing your risk. I like to be completely out of trades several days before a company announces earnings. So I recommend you hold off and make sure you know what dates that the companies are releasing earnings before you enter any trades, whether it's stocks or options. I've written this down for you so you can see which stocks have already announced earnings and which ones haven't. But you can go to Yahoo Finance for more information. You can look that up in their calendar section. Okay, let's go to some of our recent trades, especially Home Depot. So Home Depot, I was willing to get in on it a couple days ago because it looked like right there, Home Depot was losing upward momentum, and Bollinger Bands, the stocks, as you know, tend to snap back after going outside of the Bollinger Bands. Didn't do that on Home Depot. So I hope you were watching closely on this. The exit that I told you was 361. You should have already been watching that closely, but if you actually didn't see that until the alert came out, then you probably lost about 1-for-1 risk versus reward on how much money we made. The credit was about $90, and your risk, if you got out on time on this, was about the same. So that's a very acceptable risk. It's not even hit the price of the call that we sold, the 365s, but it got close to that towards the end of the day. It closed at 364.62, it looks like. So yeah, you should definitely be out of the trade by now on the credit spread. Okay, let's look at some of the trades that I am looking at for potentially coming up. First off, I'm not doing any trades until Monday. No more trade alerts. I want to wait until Evergrande news comes out and see if that affects us at all. But starting Monday, if nothing happens in our markets, here are a few trades that I'm looking at. Let's go to Verizon first off. So Verizon, they already released earnings on the 20th, and this is the response. First off, here's what they announced. Verizon beats third quarter earnings expectations. So they beat on earnings, but they missed on revenue. And you can read all about that. They're a huge company. And this is what the stock has responded to over the last couple of days. Okay, had a big move up to yesterday on earnings. It sold off a little bit today, but the whole candle is a little bit higher. I would expect it might go a little bit higher from here, but I'm watching this. I'm watching to see if it's going to resume the long-term downtrend and maybe bounce off the 50-day moving average like it's been doing for about 4 or 5 months. Okay, it's been doing it all the way since June. All right. So if it starts to look like it's bouncing off resistance at the 50-day moving average, it's probably going to be a good spot to enter a bearish credit spread and sell maybe the 55 calls or the 56, depending on the prices. Okay, so that's one trade I'm looking at right now. Disney is another trade I'm looking at. So you can see that for the past several months, Disney, if you can see that, if it's big enough, Disney has been bouncing off support of around 169 or even a little bit higher for several months. Okay, this is what it's doing over the last few days. It has come right down into support and bounced off it barely. It's still looking kind of weak here. I want a little bit further confirmation that it's going to bounce up off support so that I can place the trade. Now, this is probably the trade that I would want to set up. Something down here, 165s. If they do it in $5 increments, probably need to do the 165s. If it does $2.50 increments, then I'll probably do the 167.50s. But I want to give it plenty of space to put it down here so that if it actually starts to go below 170 and stay below it, that's a sign it's probably going to trend below it and I want to get out. Because every time before it's gone below 170, it's quickly snapped back. It's, I want to see that it does snap back before I enter the trade. Again, I'm not going to do anything until Monday. Today is Thursday, the 21st, and it's 6:30 p.m. Eastern time after the market has closed. Let's look at a couple other trades that I'm looking at. McDonald's. This is in a nice uptrend. And it looks like it's bouncing off support. Not only the 50-day moving average, you'll notice McDonald's will go below the 50-day moving average and bounce off the bottom end of the Bollinger Bands. But overall, we're in a nice uptrend on McDonald's. So now that we're at the bottom of the Bollinger Bands, I would expect it start to move up again, which means it's a great place to sell maybe the 240, that's too close, 237.50 or 235 puts. We expect McDonald's to trend up from here. And so we should be pretty safe down there. So that's another trade I'm looking at on Monday. What I really want to see is the whole stock market okay after this Evergrande thing. And then I want to see McDonald's start to go up from here. If that happens, I will probably enter this trade. A bullish credit spread, selling a put down below, and then buying a put further below for protection. All right. That's another good trade I'm looking at. But again, not going to pull the trigger on anything just yet. So see, these are some of the best trades that I see right now, keeping my eyes open for other trades. but these look like they have the best potential. Um, Keeping a really close eye on this Evergrande thing. I'm going to look at it all weekend actually to see what happens and watch the futures market here in the United States. So keep an eye on that and we'll see what happens. So everybody, that's enough for right now. Have a great week. We'll do the weekly show again next Wednesday. If you're interested in joining us for a free webinar that we do every week regarding options, specifically credit spreads, you can join us for free at thetradersplan.com. Go there and sign up and you can join us for free. All right, everyone, have a great week. This is Greg Kilpack signing off, and I'll talk to you soon. Happy trading.